Welcome back, folks, as we get ready to jump on into the final game of the Telia Esports Series Finland Summer Grand Finals. I'm still Milky Cyril, still joined by Rail as we get ready to jump on into Game 5 of the day.
Let's be real. Who actually thought we was getting to 5 games? Because, mine and Milky's predictions are blown out the window. And it just seems like whoever gets red side just seems to win. Doesn't matter what happens in the game, you just seem to win if you have red side. And Abagnale is fresh, still undefeated.
Yep, Abagnale's fresh undefeated, red side undefeated as well. Our predictions completely wrong. Well, if DeftFox win, then I guess they're somewhat right, but we'll have to wait and see. DeftFox had side selection for Game 5. Guess what? They picked red side.
Who's seen this one coming? Now, before this, Wazen said on Twitter
Okay.
that they're bringing home the trophy. But let's see if they're going to carry on the trait of England, get to finals, and not bring it home, unfortunately. We're going to have to see if they fall at the final hurdle because this is the last stop for them. 1 game left. It's all to play for.
It is all to play for. On the plus side for both teams, they still have Telia Masters ahead. Their summer season, the summer split really doesn't come to a close after this game. They still have more opportunities to prove themselves. But heading into Telia, I have a feeling that they would have wanted to have already broken that blue side curse, have confidence on blue side. Otherwise, they might struggle to get out of groups come Telia Masters in a few weeks' time.
And with these games, we've seen a lot of adaptation. Like, we didn't expect Fresh to get through this game. It did. Fresh has won 2 out of 2 games so far in the series on both sides of DeftFox and Nyyrikki. Azatel got his Aphelios fresh. And what happened? The man didn't die. He played pretty much as perfect as you want for Aphelios. Actually, he died once. Scratch that. He died once in the bot lane from that dive. And then Patoska, he really, really wanted to send a message on that Fiora. He was tired of being pressured. He was tired of getting early gank. He got one himself from Flipper, which pretty much determined the way top lane was going to go.
And with that, we jump on in to pick some bans for the final time. Folks, enjoy the screen while it lasts because you will not be seeing it again. This series has been defined by the top lane matchup, really. Who gets the counter pick on the top lane, Weka or Patoska? And with DeftFox over on the red side, chances are they get it. DeftFox ban away the Aurelia despite being unsuccessful with it in 2 out of the 2 times they have played it in this series.
That's the thing. They're the ones looking unsuccessful with it. We don't know if Nyyrikki would be the ones to play it correctly. And that being said, Gwen is 0-2 when being played top lane. 0-2.
Yep.
Has won a game mid. That's literally it. Has not won a single game with Gwen top. And we get no more Fiora. They don't want to deal with Patascos.
Thresh open, Gwen open, Viego open, and the Riven. Will it be locked in? We'll have to wait and see. Blinding Riven might be a bit too aggressive, and instead, Nyyrikki go for the Thresh.
Why do they need to go with Riven when Abagnale's Thresh is still open? They're probably just going to go Thresh Aphelios. There's nothing really stopping them.
And DeftFox say, you want to go Thresh Aphelios? Go for it. We've got Gwen and Viego, so surely now we're going to be seeing the Aphelios being locked in. Well, maybe not straight away. The Graves taken, and I've been seeing that Graves being flexed around a bit is not just secluded to the jungle.
That is Patoska Graves. I'm calling it right now. That 100% is Patoska Graves. He's played it more than junglers have played it so far. He's played a lot of Graves top as of late. Being able to keep the matchup pushed in is very good into Gwen. Haven't really seen it into Viego as of yet. Just pretty much guarantees you that lane with pressure and guarantees you that lane to roam to scuttle. So that's why you've seen him flexible. He can be played in the mid lane as well. So, like you said, we do have that pressure where you can go elsewhere.
The Braum taken, and I don't know why, but I'm starting to feel excited as we head on into the second round of bans. ADC still open for DeftFox. They could pick a mid, they could pick a jungler, they could pick a top laner as well if they want. It all depends on where they are flexing the Viego and Gwen to.
Yep. Silas banned away. No more Silas for Wazen. Had one very good game on it. The other game wasn't so great. Wasn't really in a position where you could do much on it. So they're just going to take it away. There is some very big ults for Silas this game. So it's a very, very, very big takeaway because having a Gwen ult, having a Viego, having a Braum ult, a Silas, a lot of them are amazing for him.
Now, Nyyrikki banning away that Riven, and maybe that's just so that Weka can't pick up the Riven into what we are thinking is going to be a Graves top. We'll see whether the second man will also be top lane oriented, or maybe it will be towards the mid lane. I want to highlight one thing, Rail, because if it happens, I would have looked very clever, and that I was going to mention the Akali was still open, but it's been banned away by DeftFox.
Yep, unfortunately, no ways on Akali. Akali been pretty much banned every single game. So not to be seen anywhere in sight. Gonna fall back to basics though. Ashe Braum, very solid bot lane, doesn't really have many weaknesses. Both have the double slow, both can set each other up pretty well. Gonna be interested to see how that lanes into Azatol and Abagnale, because when they have their hands on fresh Aphelios, they seem like different players.
And don't forget, this is Namex's Ashe. This is the Ashe that DeftFox tore through Nyyrikki with in Game 3. The Kale locked in. I don't think that Graves is heading top now.
Not anymore, because that is definitely Petoska on the Kale. He's played it before to very, very good success. He is permanently aggressive on this champion, despite he being a weaker champion in the early game. Likes to play press the attack, likes to be aggressive. And that's what we want to see from him. And if he can get some big ultimates off...
No way.
No, you're getting debated, don't worry.
Getting debated. I mean, Set's still interesting. It's still, you know, two top laners that have been picked up for the side of Nyyrikki. And the question is, who do Nyyrikki put where? And the Jace in for DeftFox, that's the counter pick we're talking about. That's the power of red side that DeftFox needed.
Yeah, now it's who's going where? Who wants to match who? They have to play that game. They have to play their mind games and find out, because we don't know as of yet.
You ever heard of Kale Jungle?
No, and it's never going to be a thing. Don't make that a thing. Keep her firmly in lane.
Hang on, sorry. Let me contact my contacts out right here. We make Kale Jungle a thing, please. Yeah. Next patch. It's all sorted.
Just remember what they did to my boy Graves. They said he was too similar to Lucian, yet Graves was out before him. Graves got the rework into a jungler. Sad times. Sad times.
What can you do? It's always the older champions that go first, but it looks like we can see where everyone is going. Petoska on the Kale into Weka's Jace. Kind of expected someone. We know how proficient Petoska is on the champion. And Wazen playing the set into Dragane's Gwen.
Interesting drafts across the board. This is a hard one to predict, because they both have chaotic elements. You have fresh Aphelios who naturally want to fight a lot. They even take the exhaust in the bot lane. Yep. And you have Namex back on the Ashe. He found so many good arrows. He had so much good setup in that game. This time, his only front line is really the Braum, but there's so many people to proc Braum passive. Jace attacks fast. Viego attacks fast. Gwen attacks fast. Like, if someone gets hit with that passive, they can be instantly stunned if not.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are jumping onto the Rift for the final time today. Within 40 minutes or so, we say 40 minutes, let's say within an hour, we will know who our Telia Esports Series Finland champions are. So far this series, it has been whoever is on red side takes the win. Red side with 100% win rate so far, but I feel like, Rail, this has been, I want to say chaotic, but probably not. This feels like the most even draft that we've had all series long.
I'd say so. I'd say that's definitely a great comment, because before this, we've literally looked at teams and been like, okay, this side, okay, this side. Most of the time it's been red side. Let's see if the curse actually can be broken, or is it undefeated? Because 4 games, 4 wins, red side.
What I will say is, after this game, if Nyyrikki take this game, there is no doubt that they deserved it if they take the win on blue side. But if DeftFox take it, I feel like there's got to be someone down the line saying, oh, but DeftFox had red side. And I think this is a really good chance to talk about the playoff system that leads to it. Because don't forget, DeftFox went 2-0 against Nyyrikki, or they went 2-0 against Nyyrikki in the winners brackets finals. That means that they had to beat Nyyrikki when they were over on blue side. That's why they have side selection heading into finals. So DeftFox have earned this advantage.
Let's see if the redemption story of Nyyrikki can come through. Because, like we said, DeftFox have had their number, and they've been the ones coming out on top. But this series, 2 apiece.
When we came into this series, Rail, and we looked at game 1, when Taiki was on the Trundle, Flipper was on the Xinjiao, we talked about Nyyrikki not having prepped for this series. Nyyrikki having forgotten what was so strong for DeftFox and playing towards DeftFox. But now that we're into game 5, and now that Nyyrikki have taken 2 games away, it's starting to look like Nyyrikki did do their due diligence.
Just want to say, Taiki on Trundle, 2 wins. Taiki off Trundle, 2 losses.
So what you're saying is not a red side buff, it's a Trundle buff.
It might be. I'm not going to confirm that just yet. And
We'll wait until the end, right?
there's something we didn't talk about in draft.
Okay, hit me.
Set into Gwen is actually a pretty damn good matchup for Set. Set going to be able to put a lot of true damage back onto Gwen herself. And he's a lot tankier as well.
That's a really big play, and that's a death sentence as well. Hop-Up Jr. dashing on out. Abignale forced to burn the flash. And for a split second, I thought it was all going to explode in the bottom lane.
Trade of summoners in the bot lane. Both on Abignale, and the heal and the ignite taken away from DeftFox. Looked dangerous, but nothing came off it.
And we can bring it back to a little bit of chill once more. You talked about how Wazen can kind of abuse this matchup into Dragane. He's got the Ghost as well. Even if Dragane wants to skip and slash out to safety, he can just get chased down as Dragane will spot Flipper in a bush, and Flipper says, yo, let me out of here. I just want to back. And Dragane says, okay, I don't want to fight you. That's very scary.
That is very scary.
It is.
Also,
You haven't met Graves?
I have. I've played a lot of Graves myself because he's very fun. We never talked about the Set having Ghost as well. Ghost really helps him get less kited in teamfights. It's a bit of like a Darius syndrome. Later on in the game, the Ghost really helps him stay on top of the people he wants to get close to.
Abignale. He can Lantern and Flipper if needed. But Namix and Hop-Up Jr. playing sensibly, staying well away from the range of that death sentence. First break of the game is going to be that mountain in half a minute's time, and both sides look to have relatively even priority. And we should also mention as well, both ADCs not going for the Doran's Blade starter item, opting instead for the long sword.
And do you know why this is, Milky Siri?
I don't.
So basically, in lanes where there's a lot more poke, you tend to start longsword these days. Longsword triple pot to have more sustain into poke lanes.
Okay.
And if you take cut down as well, that also adds to your cut down damage because they will have more HP if they take Doran's Blade. Not only that, the longsword always builds into a component. You're never going to lose value out of this. It's always going to build into your mythic as well on top of that. So generally, it's just really, really solid.
Efficiency, the name of the game for our AD carries. But, you know, we've been talking about how with every game in this series, Rail, it's become more calm, more collected, less chaotic in the opening 5-10 minutes. I feel like that's what's happening here again heading into Game 5. We've seen no real action in the first 5 minutes, but that might all change as Weka is engaged on. He'll just be able to retreat under the safety of his tower and back neither Flipper or Petoska burning the flash to get too greedy for the kill.
Now, if Flipper had Electrocute, if he had Electrocute, that was a kill. That is extremely unfortunate, but the phase rush is warranted. He does need a phase rush in this game. There's a lot to kite. And obviously, you get a little bit of tenacity as well.
Was it you that I was playing with recently and you told me to go electrocute on Graves over phase rush?
You said Fleet will work. And I said electrocute is generally the most preferred.
Yeah, okay. There you go. It was very fun. And that first Drake of the game has been secured by the side of DeftFox, kind of sneaking that out while we saw the aggression towards the top side by Nyyrikki.
Yep, and they're just asserting their dominance in the river. I'm going to take that Scuttle away. Set constantly having pressure in this mid lane. He's the one who's had that permanent push and seems to be coming out on top of trades. Set level 6 power spike is a very scary one.
I want to talk a little bit more about Dragani as well, because coming on into this game, you know, we knew that we kind of thought it'd be the jungle matchup battle, as Weka just knocks Petoska away, but Petoska's just going to step forward, forces a flash. Petoska flashes on after him. He's got the ultimate. One more auto, he gets it, and the ult will keep him alive with a Divine Judgment. But Dragani teleports in and pulls one back for DeftFox. Overall, though, Nyyrikki come out on top.
Oscar really wants to send a message in this top lane. Getting the solo kill again on KO this time. As soon as she hits level 6, able to pressure down this Jace a little bit more. And pretty much does exactly that. We'll trade 1 for 1 though. But they're going to blow a TP for it.
Dragani, he's going to drop down the needlework. Wazen on the run. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Wazen forced to flash out. There's one more snip. Snip would have definitely been a kill. The Moonlight Vigil comes through the Lantern buys. Time smoke screen. Naemixo will be able to flash his way out to safety. Did have to burn the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and the flash, so it might be a sitting target for Flipper in the near future as Waze are making his way up. Dragani, where are you going to go? He's slowed by the Radiant Blast, and Petoska will now do his work. As Taiki joins into the fray to make it a 2v2, the Heartbreaker comes in, but that's going to be the showstopper, dropping down Dragani low. Dragani taken down. The tower does its work onto Weka. Petoska just wants a couple of autos, but will not find it. And the Haymaker takes Petoska down to a few hundred HP and out of commission for the remainder of the fight.
And that was well played by Wazen to deliver Dragani to the tower, to receive a tower shot and pretty much get that extra damage on him to finish him off. But wasn't enough. End up trading 1 for 1 in the end. Nearly dropping Waker as well. Not much else you could have asked of them.
Still an even game, but the fact that Petoska was able to get a kill so early on to Weka, as did Kale, you know, Kale is not a champion before level 6. I mean, albeit, he did get the kill when he was level 6, but still, Weka would not have wanted that solo death this early on into the matchup.
Oh, not at all. You expect the Jace to get the pressure in this lane, and if Jace is getting solo killed, that kind of just says you've lost all pressure in that lane.
And do I feel the threads of fate unraveling around the blue buff curse? We talked about how the top lane matchup has somewhat determined how the games have unfurled in this series. And so far in the top lane, while Weka has a slight CS advantage, it's Petoska with the kill advantage and presumably a very slight gold lead.
Yes, so far not much apart. 2 kills, a piece, like you said, a little bit of a gold lead to Nyyrikki. Petoska does have a bounty on him and is also working with a cull, so he's going to come out with a decent bit of gold.
Action in the mid lane, action in the jungle. Hop-Hop Jr. is here. He flashes over the wall. He's got the Glacial Fissure as well if he wants to use it. Azatir is here. He's got the red and white guns. So that's going to be Showstopper coming through. Wazen is so low. Dragani's just going to snip Wazen down. Wazen slowly healing up, and there's the kill for Dragani. There's a DeftFox mid laner finally showing up once again.
Yeah, finds the solo kill in the mid lane. Again, like we said, Gwen 0-2 in top lane. Is it about to be 2-0 in the mid lane? It's a different story when the Gwen's been in Dragani's hands.
And let's not forget as well, Dragani game 1, LeBlanc absolutely popped off the face of the earth. Game 2, on the Ezreal, he had a solid showing, but he wasn't able to do too much after Wazen got gifted a few kills, as now Flipper is going to be the focus. Dragani 3-1 now on the Gwen.
I've got some bad news for you as well, Milky.
Oh no.
You know how you said you didn't like Lilia being a top laner?
Right.
Showmaker just played at mid lane.
Yeah. I mean, Showmaker's just showing off right now. You know, he's gone the Lilia. What did he play mid?
Trundle?
Yesterday. Trundle. Yeah. He's just limit testing right now. That's what pro players use the LCK for. They limit test.
They do indeed limit test. But hopefully no limit testing in this game. See 3, 1, and 0 on Dragane. Hitting a power spike as well. 2 full items completed for the side of DeftFox.
So to go back to that point I was making about Dragane. Popped off in game 1, played well in game 2. Game 3, he played okay, but that was the Namex story. Game 4 left a lot to be desired on his Irelia, and it's feel like Dragane hasn't had any real impact essentially since game 1, at least to me. And now I'm looking to see whether he can pop off again in game 5, and he has the tools to do so. He's got his first item completed, 12 minutes in with that Rift Maker, and let's see what he can pull off.
So the scary thing here is Nyyrikki's teamfight pressure is very, very good. If they pull off their teamfight combo, they can pretty much destroy whoever they want. It's just Braum really does throw a spanner in the works here, and really does deal with a lot of the damage well. Can block the end of the line, can block the collateral damage.
Well, DeftFox are going to be able to spot out Flipper the Heartbreaker in, and Namex picks up the kill, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, locking Flipper down where he stood. DeftFox with their 5th kill of the game.
And Graves just becomes collateral damage. As soon as we talk about it, Graves is the one taken down. He's looking for the play and caught out of position, and they're looking for Azator out of position.
They drop down the wards, but it's just not enough. 2 wards drop down. It was not enough to deny the Lantern. As DeftFox and Namex just picking up the tower plate. Wazen making his way down, but I don't think he wants to be going on in. The showstopper comes through, but Wazen's just taking so much damage. The Haymaker will buy time. 2 teleports coming in from either side, but Weka's just going to be in the thick of things, able to run on out to safety as Pletoska shows up. Locked down, Weka dives on in. Divine Judgment will buy some more time. Play onto 2 members, but Hop Up Jr. stepping forward just to buy some space for his ADC. Weka just locked down, and he's going to get run down. Flipper picking up the kill onto Weka, and it's just 1 kill for Nyyrikki in the bottom lane skirmish.
That was optimistic by Weka. I don't think that was ever going to work. I think they banked on Pletoska not having flash. They trade for it and don't get the trade-off. They lose their life. TP for TP, and all comes off this is just 1 kill.
For DeftFox though, they're still 1,500 gold ahead. And with that, we're going to be jumping on into a pause because a certain... Oh no, never mind, he's back. So, just a short pause and we will be jumping back on in. But I was going to say, the gold for DeftFox is exactly where you want it. I feel like this game, they don't really care about Weka. This is going to be the Dragane and the Namex game if DeftFox want to secure the win.
Oh, for sure. You're entirely banking on this, and we've already talked about Namex's Ashe had a great performance. Dragane's Gwen was just as amazing when he played it last time. This time round? No, man. Graves has gone for Gale Force. I don't like this. I really don't.
Well, let's see whether Flipper can make that Gale Force work. What would you rather have seen him pick up then?
I'd either go Shield Bow or I'd go Lethality. There is still some very squishy targets. When Eclipse deals with Viego very well, and Jace. So you're able to play that quite nicely against them, but if you need to go more defensive, Shield Bow would be very good here. I guess they went for the Gale Force for the extra dash. Obviously, it does have the execute damage, but I am not a fan of it here, I'll be honest.
Well, the Gale Force has been picked up, and whether Flipper can make that work or not remains to be seen. Taiki making his way up. Will not go in with the Spectrum more, as Namex is just happy just to 1v2 bottom lane. And Top Up Jr. just walking around the map, trying to get some vision control with a Taiki, and setting up this 2-man death ball of jungler and support.
key thing as well. Kale level 11, big power spike for Kale. So it becomes even harder for Jace to play this lane now. We do still have a timer on Kale. Kale, when she hits that level 16 mark, it's a big, big spike.
We're starting to get vertical jungling coming in, which just kind of emphasizes what we were talking about with regards to DeftFox wanting to play around this bottom side of the map, Nyyrikki wanting to play around the top side. The gank is coming in. China Crystal Arrow will score a goal through Abignali and Azita, but it does not matter because DeftFox are too strong. 3v2. Azita will try to buy time, but the Scythe Pistol will not be able to heal himself up. Meanwhile, first tower of the game secured in the mid lane by Flipper, using the Rift Herald to a good effect. But DeftFox will happily take the 2 kills, and now they can look to Drake. And let's not forget, that will be the 3rd Drake of the game to DeftFox as well.
And this is the issue when you split the map like this. They can just go for a play on the other side, and because they know Grace is nowhere in sight of that bot jungle, because they've taken all that bot jungle, they can rotate Dragane down and say, okay, these people are dead men. They can't be here.
Petoska cancels his back. Both Nyyrikki players waiting for a chance to jump on in to Dragane. Petoska shows up. So does Flipper. Both ultimates are available. Flipper stepping forward. That Gale Force not enough to do damage onto Dragane. And he'll be able to skip and slash his way out to safety.
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't have the damage just yet to take him down. Kale doesn't have a full item yet. Probably has it on base. And it's nearly finished without cull as well. So it's about to get 350 extra gold when that is done. And it's going to be a nice injection of gold. You want a lot of the gold onto the KL anyway in this comp. Because you've kind of sacrificed your bot lane a little bit by vertical jungling. So you really are banking on Petoska.
Petoska 2-1 and 137 CS. He's trailing on Weka in the CS department. Not in the kill department though. He's got that Nash's tooth. And if we were to put a number on it, Rail, what are we waiting for? What kind of item does Petoska need to get to really be a threat, a thorn in DeftFox's side?
It's extremely hard to say because they've both managed this game quite well. This has been less bloody than even the other game we talked about. And it's really, really slowed down the pace of things. And they're both sort of just not wanting to take risks unless they have a guarantee. Unless they're grouped as a 4-man, they're not taking any risks. And both teams have been doing the same. Because look, 4-man mid right now.
And Nyyrikki knows something is up. The question marks are being dropped. And DeftFox say, look, we're in the shadows. Do you think we're coming mid? We will just look towards the bottom lane. The engage comes through onto Flipper. Heartbreaker will be flashed away. Or pardon me, dashed away by Flipper. And DeftFox will be unsuccessful with their gank. Taiki burning the flash, burning the Heartbreaker, and unable to get anything from it.
Yep, they don't get anything from it. All they got was... they didn't even get Grace Flash.
No. He's already gone, but they might be getting Petoska's life. He's got the ultimate available. Weka, Shock Blast! Forces the Divine Judgment, and Weka goes in, picks up the kill, cleanly played by Weka.
Getting a little bit of revenge in that top side. So many pings going down in that bot jungle. Both teams pinging each other out like crazy.
All I'm hearing is pings right now, Rel. I'll be honest with you. And China Crystal Arrow locks down Wazen. Will allow DeftFox to back away without any threat to them whatsoever. Weka picks up the tower in the top lane, but right now I'm looking at one timer in particular, and that's in the top left corner of your screen. 2:15 until Cloud Drake, until Cloud Soul. Wazen coming on in with a flank. He's got the showstopper available if he wants to use it, but he can't quite get close enough to Namex. And now the potential turnaround. The Lantern takes Wazen out to safety, and that is all between the two sides of the mid lane.
Wazen did have the flash, didn't want to use it, didn't want to commit fully for the Ashe just there. Ashe was nearly but both summoners were available, so it would be a flash for flash. Not wanting to say that traitor shit. You know when I thought you said about the timer in the top left corner? I honestly thought you was talking about Kale. Kale level 13 right now. 3 levels to go.
Yep.
Gotta keep that in mind. The longer this game goes, Kale is going to get stronger. But there's still some good scaling on the side of DeftFox. You have the likes of Diego, you got Gwen. even Jace for that matter, like scaling is not going to be an issue for you.
3k goal lead for the side of DeftFox. Baron up on the map. Both sides measured play. 11 kills in 21 minutes, the lowest of the entire series, I'm pretty sure. And Nyyrikki playing this calm, playing this collectedly. They know they need to wait for Podolska to get strong. They need to wait for Azita to get strong. They're waiting for the opportunities to present themselves, and it almost did in the form of Hop-Hop Jr. But Namex just so much slows with the frost shot, with the volleys. Means that Wazen just can't quite get on top of the brawl.
And both teams just claiming whatever gold they can. Dragons spawn it in 40 seconds. Kale's working the way back to top lane. We kind of have to wait for Kale to item from Power Spike. He's not quite there, working towards it. Shouldn't be too far away. Jace right now, though, has finished the mana move. I think he needs a little bit more for it to proc. Literally 60 more. And he is going to be an absolutely massive Power Spike when it comes online.
Let's see when Weka does hit 4 stacks, but he's not going to have time to get his 4 stacks before the Drake spawns, and that's in 5 seconds time. And with Abagnale backing, with Podolska on the top side of the map, yes, Podolska has teleport, but I think Nyyrikki are just giving this soul away to DeftFox. And that means we're going to be having Elder in 5 minutes time as well, Rail.
The thing is, we talked about souls before, and this one generally is the worst one. So this one being lost is completely fine. I think they'll happily play against this compared to others. If this was an Infernal Soul, on the other hand, it would be a different story. It'd be a lot more bloody of a game.
Yeah. And for DeftFox, that Cloud Soul is going to help. Well, Namex, I feel it'll help a lot just because he's got extra cooldown on that Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Not a huge amount, it's only 2 Drake stacking. And it just means slightly more pick potential for the side of DeftFox.
It feels so weird that we've been at this stalemate for quite a while now. 3 kills to 8. The gold is in DeftFox's favor. 3k gold lead. But one team fight could change absolutely everything. 500 gold shut down on Gwen.
Yep. And when we compare this game to game 1 of the series, it is like chalk and cheese. So much more calmly played by both sides, so much more aggression in the opening games of the series. And this is the series evolution that we kind of talked about from the start, whether that's about drafting, whether that's about how the teams are playing. And Nyyrikki, they're still standing fast. They're still, you know, staying true to their plan. Just scale, don't risk throwing the game too early. Enchanted Crystal Arrow, that's going to lock down onto Flip, but that's the engage that DeftFox needed. Dragani picks up the kill, and Wazen will showstopper into his doom. Podolska joins the fight. Wazen actually able to stay alive. Abagnale stepping back. Moonlight Vigil does come through, does a fair amount of damage. Just sentence narrowly missing away from Namex, and somehow it was just the one kill that went the way of DeftFox.
Azito got a huge ultimate there, but not enough damage, unfortunately. Just proc the shield bow off the Ashe. Nearly actually turning that fight from Wazen's Haymaker there, actually. We thought he was going to go down to his death. He bought enough time for Podolska to arrive. Podolska still had the Divine Judgment as well. So he should have been fine, but very, very scary fight. They do lose the Graves. That's all they're going to lose. I think they'll take that.
DeftFox are just happy as long as they can keep getting objectives, keep getting these little wins. Here, they get the Baron, as well as 1 kill, slowly getting further and further ahead. But now this is kind of feeling like this is going to be crunch time for Nyyrikki. When DeftFox have the Baron, what can Nyyrikki do to stall the push? Because if DeftFox can get a lot from this Baron power play, they're going to find themselves in a tricky scenario.
They are indeed, and stopwatch completed on Gwen as well. Gotta keep that in mind. Gonna have that stasis full protection. Jace fully completed on that mana room right now. 2 levels to go on Kayle. Are they gonna get a chance to even use it at this point?
And those 2 levels will take, what, about 4 minutes, I want to say? Maybe a bit
Somewhere
longer.
around that. It entirely depends on if they're taking jungle camps, if they're getting gold. right now, Kale is looking to group.
Every time I see DeftFox just circling near Nyyrikki, I start to get anxious, I start to get nervous, I start to think, do DeftFox overstep? Do the side of Nyyrikki, are they able to find a pick? Do Nyyrikki themselves get caught? And right now, DeftFox playing the 1-3-1, pushing in all lanes. They're able to get all 3 in their towers, and it is just the base left standing for Nyyrikki.
And the thing is, DeftFox can just keep playing this 1-3-1, asking people to answer them.
And now that the pressure is dropping down onto the inhibitor towers, the question is going to be asked, when do Nyyrikki fight? That's going to be the arrow coming through. Flipper able to dash on out to safety. As the needlework does its job onto Flipper. So much damage from the volley onto Potoska. That's going to be one inhibitor falling. Nyyrikki cracked the base open from the bottom side. Now they turn towards the mid lane while Weka pushes in on the top side. Nyyrikki are choking. Nyyrikki are suffocating. Nyyrikki need air.
And are they going to get any? They're going to get a few moments to breathe right now with the likes of DeftFox is backing away. 1 minute 20 to the Elder Dragon. And that's pretty much what's going to sum up the game. We have to look all focused on this Elder Dragon. It has to be contested. It has to be. Otherwise, if you don't contest this, one shot blast from Jace can send you to half HP. And that's just pretty much going to set up the rest to engage.
And this is the issue as well for Nyyrikki, the fact that they gave away these Drakes. Not only have they given away Soul to DeftFox, it means that they were 5 minutes away from Elder. And now with a Baron, they've lost an inhibitor with Elder up in 1 minute's time. Can they contest that Elder? Because if they can't, DeftFox are going to be crushing on in, and DeftFox will be more than happy to fight with that buff available to them.
And they're pinging onto that top side, pinging onto the set, seeing if they can get him off. And we have the level 16 before Elder Dragon. 20 seconds to go, but they have no vision control. Absolutely none. They've just been completely swept out. They have one pink ward and one dragon ward. That's literally it. They'll be going in absolutely blind.
And we talk about how over a season, it all comes down to one final series. But we are getting closer and closer to where that final series comes down to one final play, one final pick, one final Elder Drake. And Dragani is just going to be soloing this one. Nyyrikki, not a clue that it's going down. They might have a thought in trying to Crystal Arrow buy some time. And look at Weka, he's just pushing in the top lane. He's not here for this fight. This might be a huge mistake for DeftFox. Or maybe even the back door. The teleport will come in. Showstopper takes Taiki on into the backline. The box buying so much space. Glacial Fissure onto pretty much all the members of Nyyrikki. As into the backline is Weka. The Elder Drake is secured by Nyyrikki. But will it be enough? And the answer is no, it is not. It's a 2 for 2. But Potoska is popping off. He's level 16. He has the triple kill. And DeftFox make a critical mistake at a critical point in the game.
Wow. Just wow. So much change there off the fact that they picked up the Elder. Big pickup by Flipper there. Absolutely game-changing. Tosca just cleaning up that fight. Pretty much untouched. Very good Divine Judgment in that fight. Man. Things have just got shaken up.
I've got to ask a question, though. What was Weka doing? Because surely, either you teleport before the Drake, or you commit to the split push, you commit to trying to make the backdoor play work. But he ended up having the worst of both worlds.
I would have committed for the backdoor, honestly. I generally think the backdoor was the play there, but unfortunately, they don't get it. And now they're in a game which has been blown wide open. The gold lead is still in the favor of DeftFox, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, if Potoska lives, you've seen the damage he puts out.
Yep. Potoska catches the bot wave, and now he teleports to Baron. DeftFox have to play against an Elder buff Nyyrikki. Can they make it work? They're going to try to chip away with the shot blast, but watch for Potoska. Watch for the damage that he will be dishing out. The Showstopper comes in, pulls in Dragani. That's a huge play into the box. Top of Junior is going to get taken down, and now it's just 3 members of DeftFox left standing as Flipper just charges on in onto a Taiki. DeftFox will back away. Crucially, though, for DeftFox, they deny the Baron. Take a look at Taiki. He's looking to flank on in. Well, he's actually just going to catch the wave and look to push onto the inhibitor. And maybe if he can get 2 inhibitors in trade for this Baron, DeftFox can take this out as a win overall.
Yeah, but the poke damage trying to come through. They're trying to deny whatever they can onto this dragon while Viego just works on the base.
Yeah, and DeftFox now just trying to cancel the backs to the best of their abilities. And for Taiki, he's going to be able to get 1 inhibitor, but that is all. Flipper able to get the reset, and Flipper now able to catch those waves. The next Elder in 3 minutes and 30 seconds time. Nyyrikki stalling out this game, getting this game to a point where Azita and Petoska are getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Talking of which, Magi Soul Stealer completed on the side of Petoska. You do have the Zonyas, you do have a new large rod.
That's the Rabadons.
Finished Rabadons. I mean, it's in Petoska's hands to carry. Can they keep him alive?
Nyyrikki have placed the burden on Petoska. They gave him the Kale. He is now full build. He has the stacks on the Medjais. Not 25, but 14 is a decent amount. And now he has to be the one who carries his team. He was part of this Nyyrikki roster that went 14-0 in spring. It's part of the roster that went to Telia Masters, that won groups undefeated. And now a chance for him to step up for his team once again.
Yeah, they're going to be able to take this tower pretty fast. They do have a split pusher though. Dragane is going to try work on the base. Should be able to take that inhibitor pretty much free.
And for DeftFox, they just have to deny the backs. This might come down to a base race right at the end, but no, Dragane's going to back off. You've got to keep on pushing. But it's going to be a 5v5 in DeftFox's base. The death sentence will come through. It's not there. The first Nexus tower will fall. 1 more remaining. In goes Wacker. Petoska with a Divine Judgment, able to burn down the GA. Hop opportunity going to be the focus. He calls comes to Abagnale. And this is all going Nyyrikki's way. They now turn their attention to Taiki. And the red side curse has been broken. DeftFox might have beaten Nyyrikki 4 times in the season, but when it matters most, Nyyrikki take down DeftFox 3-2 in the grand finals.
Wow. Just wow. Nyyrikki earned things on its head from that Elder Dragon. They buy time for Kale to hit level 16 for that Elder Dragon. They get the Elder Dragon, quadra kill Kale. What happens next? They group with Kale. Kale just dominates another team fight again and again. And in the last fight, just there, you're forced to answer because otherwise they're going to end the game. They do so much damage to towers with Kale doing AP damage. Towers don't matter. And then another quadra kill for Petoska. I mean, Petoska, the last 2 games, he was like, okay, you could put him like on a level of like saying, okay, he's A tier from the last series, right? But then the last 2 games, he's like S plus 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 plus. Like this man just took over both games in his own hands. They played the confidence in him. They said, play your Kale. We know you're good at this champion.
Yeah.
Man, they break the curse. Wazen wasn't wrong. The trophy's coming home with them.
The trophy is most certainly coming home. They won't pull off in England. Petoska, what a performance though. You know, we said it was a top lane decided matchup, and I feel like a bad decision call from Weka or whoever made the decision for Weka to teleport in for the fight. I feel like Dragane could have stayed in the side lane, maybe tried to push to end, because quite simply, DeftFox were not going to win the 5v5 at that point.
Unfortunate for DeftFox, because up to this point, they have played really, really well. And I think they played this game well. Just the only thing which was bad by them was just the coin flip at the Dragon. I think they're better off just keeping that J split pushing. They could have potentially knocked on the Nexus turrets there, and that would have forced more of the issue. Unfortunately, the play didn't work out for them. They didn't get what they wanted, and the game got thrown wide open.
Wide open it was at the end, and Nyyrikki secured the win. They've won Spring Split, they win Summer Split as well. Both teams their run does not end here. They will be making their way to Telemasters with a chance of potentially making it on into the NLC relegation series and then on into the NLC itself. But a fantastic performance from Nyyrikki. They step up when it matters. They break the blue side curse. And what a fantastic performance from them. I think that is all that we have time for production. Was there anything else that we need to mention before we sign off? Yeah. So, I mean, from myself and Rail, thank you guys for tuning in. Huge shout out to SQ1 Esports for having us. You can follow at SQ1 Esports on Twitter. But that is all. 3-2 at the end. A clinical finish from Nyyrikki in what was a titanic duel in a final game of Milky Serial, joined by Rail. And this has been the Telia Esports Series Finland Summer Split Grand Final. Stay till proof on the Rift, and goodbye.